Hello there and welcome to this episode. I've done a video in the past where I talked about why you shouldn't keep on driving your vehicle the moment that you see it's got a DPF light or it's got a DPF message inside the instrument cluster. I think I've done a video going in depth, but what I had not done in that video is to show you exactly, because it just sounded like theory, but I hadn't actually gone ahead to actually show you exactly what are the catastrophic things that actually happen. Now today I've got this Mazda CX-5, right? In fact, I've got two of them in the garage. They're going to be a huge comparison of two different people who had the same problem, probably at the same time, but the other one chose to drive the car for a bit longer, and the other one came immediately to get that problem sorted, right? So what has happened to this white CX-5, which is the one which took longer to get here, is pretty much the turbo blew up, right? So first he had a problem with the DPF, right? And that problem of the DPF went on and destroyed his turbocharger, her turbocharger, and that's the unfortunate situation that has happened here. Now the story is this car comes with a twin turbo setup, right? It's got a small turbo and then a big turbo. And the situation is that where it is situated, it's really at the back of the engine, between the engine and the firewall. So just for you to access it, it's almost as if you have to take out the engine out, and that's the only way you can get to that turbocharger, right? So that's the situation that's happening here. It has taken a lot of time for us to get here. It has taken us a lot of time to actually pull out the turbo and see what's going on. And the unfortunate thing for her is it is in pieces, right? Because of the excessive back pressure that the DPF has created. So ever since then, we tried to help her get it to be serviced. We spoke to the best, just the best, because we deal with the best here. We spoke to the best here in Zimbabwe. They looked at the turbocharger, they inspected it, and they just gave us the verdict that, you know what, this turbo cannot be serviced. This is a waste of time. It cannot be serviced. The best thing to do is to buy a brand new turbo. So we've been trying to source the turbocharger for this vehicle, and it's been like 2 weeks with this car parked right here, and the bill is massive. Now this, I'll tell you, this has been a nightmare job even for us, because we thought this was going to be a 3-day work, but it ended up being 2 weeks. We haven't even finished. We're still looking for the turbo. In fact, we expect that the turbo is going to arrive 2 days from now. No, maybe today actually. We expect it's going to arrive today, because we were told it left South Africa 2 days ago. So that's on the positive side. So you can see the car is here. This is the situation that we have. So that's exactly why I tell people, I keep on telling you guys to say, look guys, if you see yourself with a problem with the DPF, don't keep on driving the car, because it's going to lead to expensive repairs. It's going to lead to a much more catastrophic scenario. Now the turbo for this car is not cheap, right? It's not cheap. And one thing that I got that really, because it's my first time to look at the turbo for this car, when I looked at it, I was expecting that it's actually either going to be a Garrett, or maybe it's going to be a Bogwana, or any of those big brand names which we have been accustomed to, which we have known for a long time to be very durable. But unfortunately, the turbo for this car is a turbo called a Honeywell, right? I'm not so sure, because I know it's made in Korea, maybe China, I don't know, but I'm not so sure how strong these turbos are. I'm not even confident with the kind of a turbo that comes factory from these vehicles. Even the setup of putting a twin turbo setup, that's old technology. I don't know why Mazda chose to do so on this, I would call them later model vehicles, right? You'd find out that for Toyota themselves, on the RAV4s, you're going to find out that they pretty much use what we call a VNT turbo, variable VNT turbo, or a VGT turbo, a turbo which changes its operation depending on how you're driving. Now, the whole point of a twin turbo is the small turbo kicks in at the low RPMs, and the bigger turbo kicks in at a higher RPM. So a VNT turbo now, how it works is that it adjusts itself so that it gives you low end power and also high end power. That's the kind of newer generation turbo that we are seeing on your latest Mercedes, And like I said, Toyota started this way back in 2006, 2004, 2000 and so forth, right? So this has been there for a long time, and I don't understand why Mazda chose to go with this twin turbo setup. And like I said, once you've got one of these turbo going down, you are faced with a scenario where you might have to buy the complete set, which is bloody expensive. You're looking at spending at least 1,200, 1,300 easy just for the turbo for this car. So that's the story here. So now with this one, like I said, this is a stark contrast with what happened here. This one, the moment that he saw a problem with the DPF, he quickly rang, he made a booking, and we started sorting out his car. So his car is now perfect. We've done a DPF delete on this one, so there's no more DPF system. Everything has been sorted on this car. We even dynoed it just to see, because this, I'll tell you, is probably the best performing CX-5 that we have received so far to date for the past, I don't know how many years. So I had to dyno it because I wanted to know how much power it's putting down, right? Because when I drove it, it felt amazing. I just wanted to know how much power it is putting down. And I think you can see from the dyno sheet, it's actually doing 140, putting down 140 horsepower and 340 Newton meters to the wheels, right? Not to the crank, to the wheels. That's what it is putting down, right? And I know that people with GD6s are probably going to have a tough time chasing this car. Why? Because the weight compared to, I mean, obviously, if you look at the GD6, it's making a little bit more power, but it is much more heavier than this. This weighs a lot less, I think, combined with my own weight in there, because I weigh about 90 kgs. This one is about what, 1,000, what was this, 1,000 what? 1,500, isn't it? Oh, 1,000, I'm not sure. I'm sure you see the information on the data sheet, on the dyno sheet, which I just sent, which you are going to look at on the screenshot. So that's pretty much the situation that's there. So gentlemen and ladies, if you see yourself with a DPF problem, just to avoid, especially on these cars, because number one, they do not have the best quality of turbo, right? They're using a Korean, Chinese turbo already from the factory. They're not, and even the turbo setup is not the best or the ideal turbo setup on this car. So if you've got a DPF issue, I don't think you're going to last a long time with this car. You're definitely going to find yourself having issues with the turbocharger, and of which is pretty much expensive to resolve. So that's the message that I have for you. And if you find yourself in that scenario, don't hesitate, give us a ring. Just do something. Just don't keep driving a car which has got a DPF issue. I know there are a number of people who may be able to help you. Even your mechanic might be able to help you. But if you want it done proper, all you just have to do is to contact the DPF specialist. We are a DPF specialist and we understand these issues quite well. Thank you so much for watching. So whilst I was filming the video about this car, turns out turbo just came through and some pistons, but these pistons are not for this, so I'm gonna stop everything. I've been waiting for this for weeks. Smell of freedom, huh? It's American air. Freedom. There we go. Freedom. Oh, nice. Kind of free play, you know, like it. So we've got 8 of these. What else is in there? Cool stickers. 8 pistons. What is modest pins? Piston rings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool stickers. Instruction manual. Instruction manual. Okay. That is all. Don't even open the plastic bags before reading the instructions.
Ah, but you just did.
Yes. And the turbo for the Mazda CX-5, this is what it looks like when it's together. So we just put the sensor there. The sensor has been put. This is pretty much what it looks like. That's brand new. So in a few hours we'll install it. Probably I'll start filming after we've actually put it back together. Obviously we can't film and record at the same time. We have a few hands here, so we'll only film after we've installed it. Yeah, and then we test the car.